أشرقت بالذكر أنوار الحياة وعلى الرونة فجر من سنا لهدى القرآن في الرونة من بهجة الدنيا ربيع للندى
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to a very special program wherein we have with us one of the finest scholars of today's time in Islam, a man who has changed the lives of so many Muslims around the world. It's an honor and a privilege for us Sri Lankans to have him here in this beautiful island nation, and I'm sure he too is absolutely privileged to be here with us. We have with us Mufti Menk of Zimbabwe, and I am sure that none of you have not heard his name ever before. Assalamu alaikum, Mufti Sahab.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Your third visit in Sri Lanka, and before we start off with anything else, I would like to ask you, how has your experience been?
Sri Lanka has something amazing because every time I have come, I've fallen more in love with the place than the previous time. So I think there is something the country has that other countries don't have.
MashaAllah, that's really good to know that someone of your stature is, appreciating our country so much. But, you've moved with us so many times. Alhamdulillah, there are so many brothers that you are now familiar with, and, we're getting to know so many of us. You've seen the average Sri Lankan Muslim. You've delivered so many sermons in front of us. I would like to begin by asking you, in your perception, where does the Sri Lankan Muslim stand? With all due respect to the local scholars, alhamdulillah, they're doing a great job. But within your perception, where do we stand and what is the way forward for us?
I think any Muslim community that I have visited, and we're all as Muslims, are more like a sponge that normally takes in as much liquid as you can, press. So what happens is, as even the local scholars work, and we all work on an international level as well, we find that people are always ready to receive the goodness that people teach them. Sometimes perhaps it's only a method that might change, but the message is always the same. And I feel the people of Sri Lanka are also very, very thirsty. They do take in a lot, because I also have quite a bit of email discussion with some of the brothers and sisters from this part of the world, and from that you can see that there is a very, very great receiving of the work of the religion and so on. People are becoming more and more positive Muslims instead of being negative and closed, which is not healthy. Meaning being negative is not healthy. So it is very, very important for us to realize that there is a field out there and we need to make use of it. And we need to try and understand the mindset of the Muslims across the globe. And this is one of the countries where the English-speaking people, they do understand, they are quite highly educated, I think. And at the same time, if we don't make use of that, we would be failing.
That's good to know, because my next question was going to be regarding an average Muslim. We've noticed that in your sermons you concentrate so much on the social conduct of a Muslim. Of course, you speak on a Muslim's one-on-one relationship with Allah, but you say that social conduct is very important for a Muslim. Why, if you could explain to us?
I think a lot of people across the globe ignore the fact that Islam has a very, very great emphasis on social conduct. A lot of Muslims as well, very ignorantly sometimes, feel that Islam is connected to the mosque or the masjid, and you pray your 5 times a day, you give your alms to the poor and so on, but they don't realize that it's a way of life. And this is what we want to highlight, so that even the non-Muslims can realize that Islam has broader teachings which take into consideration every aspect of your existence. How I deal with my fellow brothers and sisters, how I deal with non-Muslims, how I deal with those I disagree with, is all part and parcel of what makes a good Muslim. And sometimes we have people who don't know Islam.
Like you say, Islam is also a way of life, not just your masjid and your tilawat. But we are in a time, we are in an era where you scholars are obviously working so much on it, where Islam is being absolutely demolished. It's been branded as a violent religion, as a religion that spreads hatred, obviously misquoting the Quran and the Hadith, which is very sad to know. But there are so many group campaigns going around the world to stop this and obviously get the right positive image of Islam going on. But on an individual level, obviously not everyone can get involved in such a thing, but on an individual level, what can a Muslim do to contribute, especially in a country like us, where we are a minority, yet we are strong?
That's a brilliant question, because there are many things that one could do. It is not actually, confined to one person's ideas. everyone should do whatever they feel or they believe is positive and would have that form of impact on both the Muslims and the non-Muslims. However, that having been said, to start off with, when we notice negative campaigns, people going out of their way to try their best to destroy the image of Islam, they're actually doing us a favor. They don't realize that. The reason is we desperately need the non-Muslims to know about Islam. We could not do it on our own. Now that there is a big hype, it's happening. So we are happy in the sense that we don't like what they're doing. We don't like the fact that they lie about the messenger, they lie about the Quran, they lie about how they think that Islam preaches this and that which it does not preach and so on. But that they don't know creates the thirst within the non-Muslim to open the Quran, and that's what we want. So now we've found that people have come up with some fake books which they have said that, this is the Quran and so on, but in no time people catch up with it. So it's actually something positive. In Arabic we say رُبَّ ضَارَّةٍ نَافِعَةٍ. Sometimes something that might look negative is actually positive if only you were to look at it in that way. So we take all that, and sometimes we are noticing, mashallah, that a lot of people are very interested and keen in Islam. Our job is not to convert people. It is solely to explain to them what is right. If they then feel they would like to follow, it's up to them. Still, we find a lot of professionals, a lot of highly educated people turning towards religion. And I'm talking here of non-Muslims turning towards Islam. And even from amongst the Muslims, those who are not very well clued up with what Islam teaches, they are starting to learn the rules and regulations of Islam. And it's something good, because we try our best to explain to people how important it is to coexist. That is, I think, the most important message for today, the coexistence. There are a few pockets of people who do preach otherwise, and they do say things, which might point in the direction of intolerance and so on. However, we have much more people who preach that which is correct. In fact, the absolute majority. And I think at this moment on the globe, a lot of people know that the true Islamic teachings are not, these sort of terroristic teachings that everybody goes on about. And we ask Allah to grant us greatness and goodness, acceptance in every way. And at the same time, we'd like to see a peaceful globe. We'd like to see peaceful communities, happy families. And I think it starts off with that.
So you speak of coexistence, which is, in our case, very important. Like I said, we are a minority community, and I'm sure back in the African continent too, there are so many countries that have Muslims as a minority community. I think most of us in our countries, we have been given all the rights as Muslims. Alhamdulillah, we are free and willing to do whatever we want. Alhamdulillah, all the Muslim rituals and the sacrifices and all that we make, we have been given the freedom to do that. But I think you'll agree with me when I say that we need to realize that rather than, abuse these powers and rights, we take advantage of it and display and exhibit our teachings of Islam to the non-Muslims, don't we?
It's important for us to display the teachings of Islam to the non-Muslims, and the only way we are going to be able to do that is by us interacting and mixing with them. And we do that in our workplaces, in the marketplaces, on the streets and so on. And it's important for us to portray the proper image of Islam. And this is why we say coexistence is so important, because many a time people are ignorant of what Islam teaches, and they're waiting for us to actually portray it to them. So if we are going to give them an image that is absolutely not correct, it's us to blame. And this is why I say whether you have a beard or whether you are dressed in hijab, the whole world knows what hijab means at the moment, it does not mean that you are a person who cannot be good to others. This is the misconception that a lot of non-Muslims have as well, that they feel that if the minute someone is dressed in, with a beard, or has put on the hijab, or is dressed with some form of clothing that identifies them with Islam, it means that is a no-go area. You don't talk to them, they don't smile, they are not human beings and so on. The other day I had an experience in a lift where there was someone, we were quite a few people, and one person in particular was quite uncomfortable in the lift. So what happened is, moments later I had my son with me, and one elderly man commented and said, this boy reminds me of my grandchild. And I looked, I said, wow, that's great, at least there's someone reminding you of your grandchild. And I think the other person who was uncomfortable began to laugh, and that was to me something so important. it was up to me whether I wanted to comment or not. And it was up to me whether that comment would be positive or negative. What did I say? I actually said nothing, nothing important, but all I did was show them that I've acknowledged their statement and it was a good statement and it was fair. And through that, someone just realized I'm also just a normal human being. So I think that this is just a simple example that came to my mind now, but these opportunities come to us every day, throughout the day. It's up to us what we make of it.